Hello my fellow Tenno and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over Kuva Liches. Yes, the sons of bitches that steal everything and are a pain to farm. That is correct. This guide is going to be similar to my Profit Taker guide. It's going to be the full guide from start to finish, and after this you will be able to do liches no problem and super efficient. Now remember, this guide is geared to more solo play as the majority of Warframe's player base plays solo, so I like to make guides that give you the tools to do everything on your own and easily. Hit that like button, it really helps me out. Subscribe you Dukat. Firstly, let's go over how to unlock liches. Well, you need to complete the War Within quest and then acquire a Railjack. To get the Railjack, you need to complete the Rising Tide quest. Great, it's that simple. You just need to complete those two quests and you can now spawn Kuva Liches. Now let's go over how to actually spawn them. Kuva Liches spawn in only Grineer missions at level 20 plus enemies. Now the best mission to spawn these Liches is called Cassini in Saturn. Now, before we run into the mission guns blazing, annihilating everything in the Warframe universe, we need to go over something first. This is where things get slightly complicated. The way the Lich system works is as follows. There are Warframe progenitors for your weapons. So each Warframe will have its element that will be put onto the weapon that you decided to farm from the Lich. So when you've stabbed it, then you will be able to get it. And there are groups of them, as you can see. For example, Rhino has impact, Ember is fire, Volt is electricity, etc, etc. You get the idea. Each frame has its own element that will be put onto the weapon. That's what the Kuva weapons are so good for. It's because you get an innate element on that weapon depending on the element that you choose and the weapon that you choose. So to give you an example, don't worry, I'll go over in detail how to spawn it fully, but let's just say you want a Kuva Brahmin. Now the best element for the Kuva Brahmin is Toxin, because then you build viral. So you go over to the table and you choose any toxin frame that you have available. You go in the mission, then you grab the target, kill the enemies, and then the larvaling spawns. Now let's say you somehow got very lucky and the Brahma spawns on the first try. Now let's say you are using Necros, you stab the larvaling and you extract. Then when you leave, the Lich will spawn, and if you check the menu, it will show a Kuva Brahma with the toxin element. Now let's go in game and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so I have hopped in game here and I'm going to run you through what I've been talking about. So I want to spawn a Kuva Tonkor and then I want to get a toxin element on it, and that's what I want to spawn. So we're going to hop in. Remember I said Cassini is the best mission to do this. So you go to Cassini. Remember, as you can see, I don't have a Lich spawned. Nowhere here, so it's a brand new one. Now as you can see, as you get into the mission, you basically just whatever frame you decided to use for whichever element, you go through, you start killing your enemies, and then what you want to do is you want to wait for the screen flashes, and I will show you what I'm talking about in a moment. But what I like to do is just run straight for the target, and then you'll see the screen starts to flicker, and then you will be able to kill the enemies. I think it's about 10 enemies in 10 seconds. I might be wrong on that. You got to kill them very, very quickly, and then you'll be good to go, and the larvaling will spawn. You just got to kill as many enemies as possible. There we go. The screen starts to flicker. Then you know the larvaling will spawn. Also, a Kuva Guardian, I think it is, something like that, will send out a message now so that you know that it's going to spawn any moment now. There we go. Kuva Guardian. Subject found. And you can see there on the map, it has spawned the little marker over there. So you go over it, run over to it, and you kill it. Now remember, I've got a toxin. Now I'm hoping I got a Kuva Nukor. So now, in the event that you don't get... Please die, thank you. Now, in the event that you don't get the weapon that you want, right? So I don't want the Nukor. I don't want this. So what do? I extract. Now, this is very, very important, because when I was learning how to do this, I didn't know this. I would just leave and come back and reset the whole time. The reason why it's important to extract is to remove that option from the rotation, because remember, there's a lot of Kuva weapons, so you don't want to keep getting the same weapon over and over again. You want to remove that from the rotation, so you extract, so that you higher your chances of getting it, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to keep running it, and then I will cut to when I eventually get it. Hopefully this does not take me 20 runs. Alright, so I have got my Kuva Tonkor, so I'm going to quickly just stab it. I got very lucky, it only took me 3 runs. Once you've stabbed it, you go ahead and extract, and then your Kuva Lich will spawn. Now, it's important to note that if you take too long to stab the larvaling, it will disappear after 30 seconds. That is also something that is quite important because it's happened to me and it's the worst feeling ever. So I don't want you to make that same mistake. So as you can see here, as you leave, then you will see your lich spawns. And now once your lich is spawned, you will see a menu in the top right when you press escape, and also you will see it on your star charts. Alright, so when I press escape, you can see here there's a little lich icon. When you click on it, you see this. Now, wow, I got a 50% toxin. That's pretty good. I got a 50% toxin tonkor, which is really decent. And I know as you look at this menu, like, what am I looking at for a first time player? But here we go. Here's the weapon. I chose a toxin element and I chose a tonkor. So as you can see, then you get rage levels. Now we'll go over that now. There's weaknesses, resistances, immunities, and a whole bunch of different abilities that they can do. And it tells you your progenitor as well. Then we get this side over here, which is requiems and the modified parazon. And this is where it gets, I understand, a little bit confusing, but we will go over that shortly. I just want to go over something else quickly. As you can see, once the lich is spawned, when you go over to Earth, you'll see here, this whole area is overtaken by liches. Now, when you look at this area, you'll see there is a bunch of different lich missions. Our goal is to do this. We need to find out the requiems. Now, the requiems, each lich has its own 3 requiems and their own requiem mods. Now, what are requiem mods? Requiem mods are these little things over here. They are parazon mods. Now, how do you get the requiem mods? Basically, when you do Kuva floods, Kuva siphons, and when you do the Kuva missions and you stab the Thralls, I'll go over the Thralls now, you get a chance at dropping Requiem Relics. Now, Requiem Relics are, I will go over there quickly for you now, over here. No, listen to me. Typing in void, awkward. Requiem Relics are over here. So as you can see, when you run these relics, just like a normal void relic, you will get a chance of getting the different types of Requiem mods. And as you can see, Zata, Lock, and then it's Vom, Jahu, Riss, and Fast, and Netra, and Kra. You have to go run Requiem Relics. Now, where do you get those? As you can see at the bottom here, there's Requiem missions that you need to do, and then you can slowly unlock these mods, or you can buy them from players if you're a whale. But yeah, anyway. Now that we've gone over Requiem mods and how to get them and what they are, so I just want to reiterate they are parazon mods, and basically how it works is you need to figure out the Requiem combination and you need to then stab him in the right order. Alright, so remember I mentioned Thralls earlier. Basically, when you run these missions, Thralls will spawn and you have to stab them and you will slowly start gaining your murmurs. Let's go in and do a couple missions. The best missions are actually doing defense and mobile defense because they spawn the most Thralls. When you're doing exterminate and capture, you don't actually get as many Thralls as what you would normally. But I'm going to do it just for the video, so it's just quick so you can get the idea of what you need to do. But I would highly recommend that you do defense, mobile defense, and then quick missions. You should get enough Thralls for that. Alright, so you've hopped in the mission, you're running around. Now, as you can see there in the icon, that little icon over there, that's a Thrall that has spawned. So you go around, kill them, and then boom, Thrall. So you kill the Thrall quickly, and then you go and stab it. Now, once you stabbed it, remember I told you about the murmurs? If you look at the top there, it'll say Requiem Murmur, and you see there that bar just moves there. It's a long grind. This is the longest part of Liches, and the most painful is the murmur farming. It's frustrating. I gotta be honest with you, but it's part of the game, and it's part of the mechanics. So as you can see here, they will keep spawning and you got to keep stabbing them until eventually you filled the bar and you found your first Requiem, and then you can find out which mod it is. Alright, so as you start doing your missions, you will get the anger up for your Lich, and as you can see here, it spawns in your mission. Now, my advice is this. Do not stab your Lich until you know the first Requiem. So I haven't found out the first Requiem, so I'm not going to stab the Lich. Do not do it. You can kill it, you can knock it down, and do whatever. Also, I would recommend to not kill it instantly, because then as you can see, it starts to spawn extra Thralls, so that's extra murmurs for you. However, if you're ballsy and you know that you can handle a level 5 Lich, which is actually not that bad, I will explain later, then I would say, oh crap, I'm dead. Then I would say go ahead, stab it, because then you get extra murmur. I am dead again, because I'm trying to explain while running away, and this thing's going to kill me with a tonkor. But anyway, so as you can see here, let's just quickly kill the thing. Where'd it go? There we go. You knocked it down. Boom. I'm going to stab these guys quickly first. I'm not going to worry about the Lich. I'm going to quickly do that. And when the health bar gets up, you'll see that it will get up again. Gotta quickly just gotta kill it. There we go. Cool. I'll stab that. Look at that free murmur. See there, the bar is almost up there. Now, I'm going to be ballsy. Don't do what I'm going to do. And I'm going to stab it because I'm trying to speed this up for the video so that I can get it out for you guys, so that I can get extra murmur. So here we go. I'm going to stab it. I don't have any requiem there. You see what happens there when I stab it? Now, the reason why I did this is because I wanted to show you that if you get the combination wrong, the Lich will flee and it will rank up. A Lich will only get to level 5. When it gets to level 5, it gets a lot stronger and you will die a lot if you don't have an invisible frame or something extremely tanky. I stabbed it, got a whole bunch of requiem, and I showed you what happens when you get the combination wrong. So which means my Lich is going to be a little bit higher for this video, but that's okay. I just want to show you guys an example just so you understand everything and what happens. So you see there, I've already found the first requiem now and it's moving on to the second. And that took me about 3 missions or so. Once you've stabbed it, it will flee from Earth and it will move to the next place, which is Mars. So it's moved away and it's level 2. We have found the first requiem. Now the first requiem that we have found is called Voam. So now here's the strategy that we would go about doing this. So as you can see here, it could be any one of these combinations and I only know the first requiem. So the next time I stab it, I want to make sure that I have Voam in the first one to find out which one it is. Hopefully before I stab it, I can find out the second one so that if I get this one wrong, I can just swap them and find out the combination. But I'm going to run you through this entire process step by step. So this video may be a little bit long, but it's just so that you can understand everything and how I go about it. So I'm going to go ahead and farm up the next requiem. But I wanted to explain here the anger levels. As you start to do the missions and stab the thralls, it will go up. Indifferent means the Lich won't spawn, but if you keep going, you will see that it will go up to annoyed, furious, and so on and so on. The higher anger it has, the higher chance of it spawning a lot more often. You don't have to stab the Lich as soon as you see it spawn. I just did it to speed it up. Right, so we have found the second requiem and the Lich hasn't spawned. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over to my Parazon. So we have found Voam and Zata, as you can see. So I'm going to slap, I've got 1 charge left. I'm just going to slap it here and then we're going to stab the Lich and see if the combination, if we got lucky. But as you can see, we have 2 of the Requiem mods. We just need to find the third one. Right, I just got wrecked. But anyway, as you can see, the Lich has spawned. I'm using the wrong frame for this. I'm actually supposed to use a different one, but he just changed to Thrall. The Lich has spawned, and remember, we have put Voam in the first one and then Zata in the second. And now let's hope that we get it right the first try. Let's see what happens. Cool. So now he's down, and we got it wrong. So now we know that Voam is not in the first slot, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to move it over to the second slot. Now, I got it wrong on the first try for Voam. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to change it over to here. I'm going to swap it around and see if Zata's here. If Zata's wrong here, then I know that Zata will either be the second or third. If I get Zata right and Voam wrong here, then I know Voam will be on the third, and then the third requiem we find will be placed here because we've got that right, that wrong, and then obviously the last one is the third requiem. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to run around and then see if we get this correct. Let's go. And I got Zata wrong. And I died. And I messed up. As you can see here, we got Voam wrong and we got Zata wrong. So now we know that Voam is not in the first slot and Zata's not in the second slot. So what I would do now is I would do this. I would swap fast over and then we get to here. But as you can see, I have an extra level on my Lich because I stabbed it in the beginning. So just know that you would be 1 level behind. I just did it extra for the video so that I can speed it up and get through things faster. The Liches here, we are going to see if the combination is right. We know that fast is going to be the correct one, no doubt. It's like, no doubt, it's going to 100% guarantee. Let's just hope that our second and third one is correct so we don't have to keep farming this. Otherwise, it's an absolute pain. Let's go. I did swap to Octavia to just so that's it. Please get it right. Please get it right. Yes! Thank you! I no longer have to endure this pain. Yes! Okay. We got it correct. That took forever. Painful. Once that happens, you can leave. Don't worry. You don't have to keep staying in the mission. All right, so now you've got that. That took forever. Oh my word, I hate liches. Anyway, got that, and the lich will now flee to the Railjack section. In order to actually access the Kuva Lich Confrontation in the Railjack, you need to be level 5 with one of your intrinsics. If you go and do a bit of Railjack, you need to get to at least level 5 for one of these intrinsics. Great, so now that we got that sorted, now before we go hop on in and go and kill the Lich and grab your weapon, let's just talk about certain things that are going to make it easier for you. So let's just say you've messed up the combination and your Lich is level 4 or level 5. It's pretty high, and as a newer player, you're probably going to die a lot. So I'm going to give some gear recommendations and frame recommendations that I'd recommend for you to use that are pretty easy and quite cheap in terms of, you know, being able to kill the Lich. Get yourself an invisible frame, any invisible frame for that matter. It could be Loki, it could be Ivara, it could be Octavia. Octavia would be probably the best bet if I'm being honest. Something that is invisible and the Lich can't kill you. So when it comes to the weapons, for a lower MR player around basically MR9, I would say use the Ignis Wraith. What you do is you slap on Hush and you literally just go invisible and you shoot the thing until it completely dies. Now, so yeah, the Ignis Wraith is a very, very good recommendation. Otherwise, the Latum. When you get to MR14, the Latum literally makes any level of Lich a joke. It's too much damage. It will one-shot it. I will take the Latum in for this confrontation so you can see, as it's pretty easy. Otherwise, bring yourself a melee, and I'm not joking, literally melee the thing to death. If it takes you 5 minutes to kill a level 5 Lich, you've killed it, have you not? Exactly. That's the most budget, easiest possible way of killing a Lich. Stay invisible and just melee it to death. Anyway, so as you get your weapons up and everything like that, in terms of getting your frames, until you get Banshee or something like that, where you can use the silence or the sonar, and then shoot the weak points, I would say just get an invisible frame. Use Ash, use Octavia, or anything that has a high defense, but Invis is your best defense here, realistically. You could use Nezha. If you really wanted to, you can use Nezha. That will work as well. And also you could use Rhino for the Rhino skin. They have a lot of defenses. This will allow you to do this no problem. Alright, so you're going to have to maybe level up your Railjack a little bit because you might die if you are a brand new player. I do not have a Railjack guide as of yet. I will very, very soon. But for this, you're basically just going to have to kill 53 fighters and 3 cruise ships. This way, you'll get unlocked to the ship and you'll hop in and go and kill it. You complete the mission. Let's hop straight into the galleon and then we will confront the Lich. As you can see, Lich is here and we'll kill it there. Cool. Now, as I said, that's the Latum. It does a lot of damage, but as you can see, I was invisible. The Lich didn't even know I was there. But when it comes to any weapon, if you're struggling to find a weapon, just go invisible, melee it to death. The Lich won't know you're there. It will take long, but you'll get it done. Okay, games are glitching again. Cool. Now let's extract and claim your weapon. So you finish your mission and you will see you will get a message saying you have a Kuva Tonko or whichever weapon you have. And as you can see, when I go over here, go to your foundry, you go over there. Boom. You've now got your Tonko. Now, here is something that I want to talk about as well very, very quickly. You get different types of elements per weapon for the Kuva weapon. So for example, if I look at this Tonko over here, it's a 42.3% electricity Tonko over here. And if I go over to this one, it is toxin, 49.9%. So what you can do, this is the method of farming ephemeras and also just farming elements. Let's say you got the wrong element and then you get the right element. So what actually happened was I tried to get an electric ephemera and I failed. So I had this electricity Tonko just lying around. I was like, I don't want this. So I got a toxin Tonko, which is the right element. This is why I actually got a toxin Tonko for this video so that I could show this mechanic quickly. So you can go here and you equip your weapon, go to upgrade. Then you want to go to actions, and then there's something called Valence Fusion. Now, Valence Fusion basically means you just fuse the other one and choose the element that you want. So as you can see there, it says choose a stat. Do you want toxin or do you want electricity? Now, I want toxin, so I fuse them together. And as you can see, when I fuse 149.9% with the 42.3%, I get a 54.9% toxin. That's pretty nice. So I type fuse, and boom. I've got a 54%, that's like almost a 60% Tonko. 60% is the highest you can get on a roll for a Kuva weapon. Just that's important to know. It's only 60%. So if you get a 60%, you're very, very lucky off the bat. Cool. So now that we've added those together and I've explained that, so you don't need to go and reform or sell or whatever. Just get the right element and then you can Valence fusion them together and you're good to go. Alright, so there's one last thing I want to talk about very briefly with you so that you can speed up your Lich runs drastically. There is a mod called All. Now, All is a special mod that is dropped by killing the Liches, and as you slowly start doing more and more Liches, you will actually find that you will start getting these and they'll start dropping. It's a potential of dropping. I don't know the drop rate, but yeah, there's a chance that you can get this mod. Now, this mod is an absolute lifesaver and speeds up your runs drastically. Why? Because it's a mod that takes the face of all of them. So basically, if I slap one All on the first one, every time I stab the Lich, it will be correct on the first try. Now, why does this make it so much faster? So let's just say this, for example. Just picture this in your head. You're running a Lich, you find your first Requiem. Your first Requiem is Lock. I have All in my first slot. I find Lock, I slap that in there. Okay, this is the best case scenario. I stab the Lich, I get this right, of course. Every single time you stab it, it will be right because it's All. Then I try Lock. Lock turns out to be in the second one. Now, I got Lock right, and I got All, which means I got 1, 2, which means I just need to find the third one. So when I find the second Requiem, let's say the second Requiem is Netra, then I take Netra and I put it here. Now I stab the Lich again, so right, and then I don't know about this. Now let's say I got this wrong, but let's say you got super lucky and you got that right, boom, you've completed the Lich in like 2 stabs. It's brilliant. Then let's say I got this wrong now. Now if I got this wrong, then I go, okay, cool, just swap that around. And I know I got it right. Next time I stab the Lich is correct. That's why All. And that is why All is such an amazing mod and speeds up your Lich runs drastically. It's a very great way for you to do this. I will be making an in-depth guide on this very, very soon after I make the Sister of Parvos guide, which is coming next. So stay tuned for that. It's like a whole series that I'm going to do in covering this topic for the game. Anyways, guys, this is a very, very long video, but I've gone through everything step by step on how to do Kuva Liches, and I've given you all the tools and how to do it quickly as well. I hope this guide was helpful in any way. Please let me know in the comments down below if this has helped you in any way. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you all in the next one. Go and have fun farming Liches because I hate doing Liches myself anyway. Have a great day. Bye.